Sometimes people have a story to tell. It could be a story of triumph or a story of sorrow. However, it's their story. It's important to keep their story authentic, in their own words, and delivered in a delicate way. That's where Unfiltered Discussions podcast comes in. I'm Brian Howard. I talk with my guests about tough subjects and pivotal moments. I'd love for you to hear their stories. Subscribe to Unfiltered Discussions on your favorite podcast platform. Let's ensure their stories are heard.
From the hosts that brought you Fraternize with These Guys, Bleach Bros Podcast, and the Dads on Dayquil comes a show full of raunchy and hilarious content. Hosted by the Plumptable shirtless man who is oft mistaken for a chupacabra, Beezy.
Hard to pass up breakfast and head.
Connoisseur of boobies and subies, B-word.
What did you call it? A swamp what?
A swamp gopper.
You'll often find him in the Hateful Gnomes music hut, Jordan, a.k.a. the Gnome.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why women shouldn't drive.
From the Stoned Safe House, AJ, a.k.a. the Stoned.
I got like a fucking 4-footer bong. And I'm like, can anyone help? Can you put your saber on that end?
Subscribe to Raunchy Regret Podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Or check out their other content at linktr.ee/Raunchy Regret.
Hey everyone, it's Gnome from the Hateful Gnomes Music Hut. I'm here with my good buddy, Jake the Hater, and we're bringing you a bi-weekly music podcast for all your heavy metal needs. Tell them about it, Jake.
We are here to have our horns up, and we are staying heavy. That is right. Even B-Word is producing behind the scenes, turning his mic off. But you know what? We are going to give the fans something bigger, badder, and fucking bolder. Tune in bi-weekly, a Spreaker Prime podcast.
Søren Kierkegaard said, "There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to believe what is true." George Orwell told us that in a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, while Aldous Huxley reminded us that facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. Lastly, Joe Class said, "The truth will set you free. But first, it will piss you off." This is the news show, Whiskey Hell. Think critically, act accordingly.
Saturday, February 3rd, 8:28 in the evening. This is the news with Whiskey Hell. Fitz, we made it through another week. The dock is large. The dock is huge. The girth of this dock is immense.
I mean, are you trying to make this sexual like right off the bat? Because I'll go there. I've been trying to deep throat this dock all week, and it just doesn't fit. I've tried pretty much every orifice I've got, and this thing, it just keeps growing and getting bigger. Just when you think you can handle it, more crazy shit happens, and the girth and length of it takes off.
It's like the Viagra of docks. You know, and everybody needs to realize out there in listener land, I'm already pouring my beer.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. I always forget until you say, "Hey, what are you drinking?" I'm like, I don't fucking know. Let me open it.
So we have this growing living document that, much like the Constitution of our good old America, the United States, the growing document that it is, the living document that it is, at week to week, we have tons and tons of stories that we pull out of the news and set aside just for you weekly. And we've got stuff from Podesta is the new Climate Czar. He takes over for Kerry. I mean, rumor is he's kind of rapey, so I don't know why he wouldn't be in the Biden's cabinet now.
He's Pizzagate.
That's the guy that
had the fucking emails. And why he's not in prison? Not only is he not in prison, he's in the presidential cabinet. What the fuck is going on?
Boston, Walgreens ends up being racist per the ultra-lib Ayan Preseley. Mark Cuban's apparently racist. Didn't know that till this week, but it's good that he came out. But everything's okay, Fitz, because the president of China, Xi, swears that China is not going to interfere with our election. So we've got a ton to talk about tonight, my man.
We really do. That was maybe my favorite story all week because, kind of like I said to you and Hefe in the chat, it was like, was this like a, Scouts Honor thing? Was this like, hey, prick your pinky and we'll be blood brothers, and then I promise we won't attack you? I mean, it just seemed so odd because it was worded like it was just done, my handshake is my oath. Like, what? This is 2024, bitches. Handshakes don't mean shit anymore. They do to me.
No.
But nobody knows how to do them anymore. What the fuck?
So we've got a banger of a show going tonight. Shout out to everybody who's in chat. We've got Beard of Liberty, L, Gray's Tap Room, that's Mike, Trash Can Tabby, Aaron, and am I missing anybody? I think Buttercup's going to show up at some point. We'll have a Hefe sighting at some point too. L needs to dock. We've already talked about that. Looks like you guys read as much into that as you want. But the way you get into chat is join the Patreon, and then we add you to our chat that is the weekly chat, where you can jump in there. It's the live chat. It's 24/7. But then you also get access to the live show and the drinking game that goes on during it, which Tabby, Mike, thank you for putting together the list. We have a new list. Should we go through the list before we go to beers, or should we do that during housekeeping?
Let's do it during housekeeping. But I definitely want to go over it just because I think some folks are playing along at home,
okay.
And so let's establish the ground rules right up front. Which, if you know, you know. But some of you have already had quite a few drinks because I'm getting sexual tonight. So
that is absolutely perfect. And Elle is definitely getting sexual. She already posted that she's had a Big Bad Baptist already.
Oh boy.
In a Bourbon County. She's in the middle of a Bourbon County. And I think she's drinking the Bourbon County straight out of the bottle. I hope somebody's going to be holding your hair tonight.
Yep. God bless you.
Yeah, that's a hangover waiting to happen, but good on you. Drink water.
Hey, right. Yeah. Lots of water. Put in some electrolytes in that water, some salts. You'll be right as rain by morning.
There you go. All right, Fitz, what are you drinking?
Well, mystery beer. My wife I feel like she kind of scored one for me tonight because, again, all I know going in is the brewery, and tonight she picked me a Great Notion, which, such a phenomenal brewery. We've had a lot of amazing stuff by them. On top of it being a Great Notion, it poured out a magenta, a cloudy magenta color. So I'm thinking it's either a sour or a milkshake. It was pretty thick there at the bottom. I wish I would have known that beforehand because, you like to shake those a bit, but that's okay. I got most of it out.
Sure.
That's about all I know. Great Notion. They make a fuck ton of beers. I mean, they must have 70 beers just on their website. And then I find stuff all the time that, isn't even on the website. So, between you and me, who the hell knows what this is going to be, but let's see what flavors I can pick up here.
All right. It's greatnotion.com. That's the website you can go to. It's a very interactive website too.
Oh, God. Oh, you're going to have to cue the music, dude. We are going to be making love to this.
All right.
To this bad boy. Okay.
All right, lay it out. What do you got?
Dude, you see how good I am? I just, all I did was start talking about it and she's already in ecstasy.
I see this.
Raspberry, I'm getting some vanilla. I'm getting possibly a orange rind, there's an orange there's a mandarin component to this that I'm getting. Hold on. It's thick as hell.
Right. It's got to be a smoothie then.
When it is a smoothie, It's got to be.
Okay.
When it gets up in my nose, my oral factory there, not my oral factory. Everybody, calm down. My aura factory up there. I'm getting like a something earthy, and I'm not graham cracker crust, but like in that neighborhood, like something bready. So, all right, I'm just gonna pull this out here. Because again, they have so many beers, I can't even guess which beer it is. So let's just see here. Big reveal.
I'm going with Mellifluous number 2.
Well,
I would call my shot.
Okay, you would be incorrect. This
I had
one
to
is
try.
called. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. This one's called Twisty. It's a 6%er smoothie. Tart ale with strawberry. Okay, that's the berry. Blueberry, lemon. That's what I was getting. And marshmallow. That's the other flavor I was
Okay,
getting.
that makes sense.
Yep. Okay, well there you go. Really phenomenal beer. This one might go down pretty quick. This might be a quickie.
Okay.
Because it's almost like a thirst quencher. Very, very well balanced. I like that it's strawberry, not raspberry. I kind of missed the mark on that, but the strawberry I'm definitely getting. This would be a fantastic like late spring, early summer beer.
Is this it?
You just been out. That's it. Yep, Twisty.
Okay.
You've been out working all day in the sun. You got sweat places that either you don't want it or you really like having it, if you know what I mean, ladies. And then you pop this thing open and it quenches your thirst. It gives you a little buzz. Very nice beer. Oof. She's gonna make me finish quickly. I know that.
So that is Great Notions Twisty. That's actually one of their first.
That's good.
That's one of their first ones. That was for a smoothie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a hell of a way to start. Good job.
Yeah, it really is. Excellent. What about you? What are you downing?
So I'm starting with Miner's Mild by Tombstone Brewing. I've had my eye on this one for quite a bit now. It's actually a very easy, a very low ABV one. Don't worry, I've got something heavy later to follow this up. But
that's what she said.
Exactly. It's an English mild ale.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure what to expect, other than I'm thinking it's going to be mellow. It's going to be, it's more of a English brown. It's a pub ale.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see how they're going to pull that off.
I really appreciate that Tombstone Brewing is a thing. Tombstone is one of my favorite little towns, one of my favorite day trips in Arizona. The history there, but also it's just a cool fucking town to just fart around for a day.
Yeah, I've never been there.
I'm glad they got. What? What?
Never been to Tombstone, seriously.
McShane.
I know.
I'll tell you what. If we do a Whiskey Hill retreat, it would be fun to have everybody kind of meet in Phoenix so that we have some nightlife to have some fun with, but then also take some day trips. Sedona, Jerome, head down southeast in Tombstone. I mean, just do all the cool places and hit all the cool pubs. I think that'd be fun.
No, I absolutely. I would be all down for that. I just have never made it down there.
Oh, okay.
So,
fair enough. So what do you think about the beer?
It's bitter. It is a bitter beer.
Are you making bitter
Very
beer
calm, though. No, not at all. It's a very calm, dirty, filthy beer. I wouldn't call it a crushable beer just because of the bitter. It's that bitter that gets you right in the back of your throat.
Right.
But
is
it is a good beer
of beers?
Yeah, I can give that to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yay.
Definitely getting the caramel, definitely getting very roasty. It probably leans a little bit heavier into, being more like a porter, but it's lighter. So it doesn't have that heavy porter taste to it. So it's good.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it.
Hey, it's worth mentioning. We haven't talked about it on the show in a while.
Yeah.
But, up until fairly recently, it was very hard to get beers ABV to be above a 5%. It was very hard. You talk about old world recipes. that people used to go to the pub and have a pint back in the 16, 17, 1800s, they were getting wasted off of like 4.5%ers, guys. It's not until modern technology when we know how to get the ABV up there and when to cook it and when to add the sugars, and that we've gotten to have these huge imperials. But so you're kind of having a true old world beer that they may have actually had back in Tombstone.
Yeah. No, I'm right there. Yeah, absolutely. It there's nothing about it that isn't. So, what was it? There used to be some dark browns that we would get, like a Bass. I don't want to say. Was Smithwick's a brown?
Smithwick's, no, that was a cream.
Was it a cream?
Yeah, and we did Newcastle. That was definitely
Newcastle was one. Yep. And there was an American one that you remember our buddy Greg. There was what was the brown that he always drank?
Was it the Alaskan or was it the Boont?
No, well, Boont's was one. Alaskan Amber was one too.
Yeah,
but there was another one. It had a yellow label on it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is also a style that you don't get very often now at all, because it's not as adventuresome as what you'd as what everybody else wants. It's not a smoothie. It's not a hazy. It's not a in-your-face IPA. It is an English brown ale, which is a really good drinking. This is the kind of stuff that you're going to go to the pub and you're going to get 6 or 7 of these things and walk home to your flat.
Yep. Nice. I'm glad you're. I'm glad I know you mentioned earlier you're not feeling 100%, so I'm glad you're starting out a little slow, easing your way in, dip the toe.
Yep, and that's and I'm really I've tried to cut back, period, which is ironic because as soon as I do, I start getting sick. But so yeah.
Well, your body's going through a lot of change there. It
is. I'm in transition.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
we'll see how far I take that.
Yep. It always comes with a little bit of your body being like, all right, this is new. Hold on, slow down.
Fucking up the chemistry, man.
That's you get a little sick from it. But
so yeah, the voice is off a little bit and a little bit nasally. So if you hear some coughing that makes it past edits, I do apologize. So we'll see. But I'm gonna stay hydrated here, and that's the important part. All right, the drinking game is done. Let's get into housekeeping.
Did we go?
And let's
we didn't go over
that.
it.
No,
okay.
not yet. But
I see.
We've got it right here. It's in the show doc.
Gotcha.
And it'll be up on the website after we get done here. So, if you hear me sigh out of annoyance, you drink. Anytime Fitz gets sexual, period, you drink.
Mm-hmm.
If El Jefe has that philosopher's moment where he has that, anything like that, you drink.
Yeah. Yep.
If Beard mentions anything to do with guns in chat, or weapons for that matter.
Any weapons, yeah.
Any weapons.
Knives, guns, yep.
You drink. When Joe makes it into chat, I don't think Joe's not in yet. So we'll see. Joe might be here later. Says anything about liberals. You drink. I love that one. It's so great. Aaron, anytime someone has a pronoun mentioned, drink. Buttercup, when she shows up, and she'll leave, and then she'll come back. Anytime she comes back into chat,
drink.
You drink.
Yep.
When Elle talks, because she's usually kind of quiet and kind of laid back. Tonight, y'all are getting fucking wasted because she's very talkative.
Yeah,
so,
she's chatty.
Y'all are fucked. And LOL, you guys get to drink. Mike says something retarded. I got a hunch Tabby's going to be the one who's going to be calling that out. Mike, you guys need to work that out, man. I'm sorry. I feel like you're being beaten on a little bit there, but just you're going to have to work through that. And 10, I'm going to call dealer's choice anytime any of the hosts want to call somebody out to drink. We get to do that.
Okay.
Too. Okay. Sound good?
I like for Tabby, because that's the 10th one, right? She's the one that she didn't know what to pick anything for herself. I'm going to tell you right now.
Correct.
We're going to drink anytime Tabby says something that a guy would say. and that might fuck us all up. I might be going over the top here, but you all know what I'm talking about. So if she says something a dude would say, done. We're all drinking. So, Tabby, be nice.
That's funny.
While McShane is typing that out, just so we've all got it memorialized forever on the dock, I want to give a couple of personal shout outs really quick. Not going to go into any details, obviously, because it's, my job and, identities need to be protected or whatever. But we had a very strange occurrence happen with one of our littles this week, and we had to call 911. And I just want to give a shout out to all of my staff who acted professionally. Our EAP, our emergency action plan, worked flawlessly. The paramedics who came out, you all were studs. They even brought stickers for all the kids.
That's awesome.
And it ended up being a happy story. The little guy came back the next day and had the adventure of his life getting to ride in an ambulance. So it was just a happy story, but I just wanted to give a shout out because my staff were they were studs, every one of them.
Good for you.
And also, I called 911, and the operator on the other side was just cool, calm, collected, just knew her shit. So it worked the way it was supposed to work. So good stuff.
That's fantastic. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a second personal shout out. I don't know if I've shared my frustration on this show. I think I have a couple times, but I don't know why it's so fucking hard to find somebody quality who can cut your hair. I had somebody, she's a friend of ours, but then she got like a full-time job. And so I don't want to be that asshole friend who's like, hey, on the weekend, could you cut my hair? So I've been actively searching. In fact, it's why I shave my head most of the time, right? Because I can't find anyone to cut it the way I want it.
Right.
Well, today we found a barber shop that's literally walking distance from my house. Well, be a long walk, but it's a 5-minute drive.
Good enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been open since 1958, so it's an old school barber shop. The original owner, his picture's up there. He passed away. And they had a great quote on the wall. It said, old barbers never stop cutting. Their pole just stopped spinning. So I don't know if that's sexual or not, but but if you'd like to, so they had a pole up right above his picture that had gone dark. So it was really sweet. The place had a lot of nostalgia. Anyway, I get this brand new kid. He hasn't even been there a week yet. Doesn't even have his name tag up above his mirror. His name's Cameron. Cameron, I didn't mention the show, so hopefully you go back and listen to this show because he fucking killed it. This is the best haircut I have had in, easily 3, 4, 5 years. And maybe the best one I've had in 15 years. So he killed it. He spent his time. He did everything right. He blended it the way I wanted. So shout out to Cameron. Thank you so much, dude. So that's my, and you know what? There's something about when you get a haircut that reflects how you feel about yourself. Like on the inside, I feel a certain way about myself, right? I have confidence and I feel like I'm, I like to be balanced and precision and, professionalism. But then the outside doesn't really match how you feel about yourself. It's kind of hard to, keep that identity. Well, this haircut, like immediately, I just saw it and I was like, holy shit, that's exactly what I had pictured in my head. So I'm just really fucking happy with it. And so I had to share.
That's fantastic. And honestly, you're absolutely right. I obviously don't go to get my hair cut anymore. I'm done. I'm bicking it.
Yeah.
But I go to get my beard trimmed. Now, the woman who does my beard, Iris, is fantastic. She's funny and she's sassy and she won't let me get away with shit. It's therapy. It is therapy for me. I have to go in and she calls me on my bullshit. It's only for 20 minutes, but it is the best fucking therapy that there is. You go in, she lines everything up, she trims it back a little bit, makes you look like a proper gentleman, and I walk out of there feeling really, really fucking good. So you're absolutely right. When you find that person, you hold on to them as tightly as you possibly can. So you snuggle up to Cameron next time you go in there next month.
Yep. Oh, I'm going to. He's a young kid, you know, and I was like, oh shit, here we go again. Another fucking bad haircut. Dude, he killed it. He killed it. So I don't need to linger on it too long, but it just made my fucking day. I walked out of there chest high, you know, my dick swinging. And it was like looking everybody in the eye, like, yeah, look at me. Felt pretty good. And I'm sure you know, there was a couple of sploosh moments, honestly. For those of you who don't watch Archer, sploosh is what the female members of the cast would say when something would, you know, get them hot and bothered. And then the males started saying it, which I thought was even funnier. But there were some splooshes out there. I'm not gonna lie. I was killing it. So
absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is a good afternoon.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
All right. Housekeeping. We had a couple of polls this week that we wanted to go ahead and get into. One, and we don't need to get into the whole Taylor Swift stuff real deep.
No.
But the narrative now, especially since the Super Bowl is going to be the 49ers and Chiefs, is that all this talk about Taylor Swift, everything's being tied into the politics behind it. Is she going to sponsor, or is she going to, you know, support Biden? Is she going to come out and say anything like that? Is she a psyop? Is it a CIA psyop that's going on? So we wanted to go ahead and you know, send out, you know, get some feedback on it. Due to the surge in talk around Taylor Swift, NFL AI porn, because that came out last week, just ironically at the same time that the Chiefs were going to the Super Bowl, normal Swift excitement, is she being used to gain Americans' trust in a very dark time? Now, I pulled the psyop out of their terminology because I didn't want to be that obvious. I really wanted to see what I wanted it to go. I wanted to imply the psyop versus just come out right out and say it. Yeses were 53.7%. No was 46.3%.
Pretty close.
I'm in the camp that it totally is, but it's interesting that it's that close.
Yeah, same. And I know there's a lot of love for Taylor Swift, and I'm not. This is not a Taylor Swift bashing moment here on the show. There'll be time for that later if we feel it's necessary. I know we've got some folks that listen to this show who are huge fans of her, and so this isn't actually about her as a person or a personality. What my statement really is about is, once again, the manipulation by the media to tell us who to like, what kind of music to like, who to get behind. And then as soon as the media tells us to really like a person, then what do you know? That person's being tapped to endorse a certain political candidate. And that's where, I mean, literally the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. When I see something like that, the manipulation that's going on, First I get furious, and then I go, but I can be mad all I want. The fact is, people are buying this shit, hook, line, and sinker. They're liking Taylor Swift because they're supposed to, not because they really enjoy her music or know all the lyrics. They're just like, oh well, she's America's sweetheart or whatever. I don't know. It's such a slippery slope that we're on, and you just see it every day in, day out.
Right.
And people, I guess, you know, obviously our listeners are above average intelligence. They have to be to listen to this show. Oh,
yeah. We got some really smart folks that are in.
Of course.
The geniuses are actually in chat right now. But
right.
For the folks that haven't joined us, yeah, they're very, very bright.
And so I know they get it, but I see people in my daily life who don't get it. And it scares me because if I'm being perfectly honest with myself, and I think they're the majority. That's what I think. There, I said it.
Wheelbarrow full of dicks at WFO Dicks. This is Mike. Great show if you guys haven't listened to it. ESPN knows if they do a story on her, people will click on it for positive or negative reasons, but they still click. She's being used because she's popular, and she's popular because she's being used. She's like a fidget spinner.
Right. I love that. Dead on. You know, that's a good point too, that we need to make sure you realize it's not just about loving Taylor Swift. If you hate her, then you're also clicking those stories. You're also getting her more exposure. You're talking about her. She's part of the conversation if you're talking about how much you hate her. I mean, so it goes both ways. There's, I mean, no such thing as bad publicity, you know?
No, exactly. Bold Talk by Joe podcast. I don't know about trust. Celebrities always have an agenda. They want to push either to make more money or stay relevant or get more fame, and not to mention political agendas. Used or not, it's annoying, so I stay clear. Fair point.
Yeah, agree.
I had to say it.
Same.
Aaron. She's being used as a distraction, not an inspiration. Only smooth brains would trust based on a celebrity's endorsement. That being said, no shortage of mouth breathers in this.
Well, and for those of you who might be smooth-brained, what that means is the fewer little wrinkles you have in your cerebral cortex and on the surface of your brain, the fewer connections you get to make. And so that's why he was referencing smooth brain. Sorry, I'm being overly obvious for anybody out there who doesn't know what that means.
So yeah, interesting stuff. I think it is a psyop. I truly do. I have zero doubt about it. I think she's going to bring 164 million Instagram users to bear. I think it's going to get absolutely fascinating when we get closer to the election. The thing that I'm wondering is what happens next week. Because if I'm a betting man, which I am, and we'll have to ask El Jefe also, because I think. Actually, no. We'll have one more. No, we won't have the. Yeah, this is the show. We'll have to talk about the Super Bowl. I would bet on the Chiefs to win. I think it plays. I think it plays right into the Kelsey Swift saga. I've even seen where some people think he's gonna go ahead and propose on the field if they win the game.
And he's gonna have a big role to play in the winning touchdown. That's what I've heard.
Yep.
He's gonna be some kind of hero.
There, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I'm gonna have to look. I'll have to go on and see if I can. In the second half of our show, I'll see if I can bring up FanDuel and look and see what kind of Super Bowl lines they've got out there.
Yeah.
So I haven't looked at that lately.
I think. Well, I don't know that. I'm not going to say because I don't know. I thought I saw that San Francisco was favored, but not by much. But that was like a week ago. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll take a look. I'm sure that Hefe's already got a line on a lot of that stuff too.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure we check it out. Beard of Liberty. I see people saying that the NFL is scripted as wrestling. Thoughts? I see too many irregularities. And I think it's much too, I forget what the word is for it. It's much too carbon copy. There's too much similarities between teams. So I can totally see that being the case. I can see that.
I heard a comment from a friend of mine who was like, "Yeah, but how do you fake some of these plays these guys are making?" And I don't think you can script individual plays, although. Right. To some degree, you can, because these guys, I don't know if the average, mortal understands how often these guys practice and how much they practice. But okay, I'll give you that. You can't script an individual play, somebody doing something heroic. What you can do though is, you see a drive that's not supposed to score, and you'll all of a sudden see a guy that catches everything that's within a mile of him. All of a sudden, his hands become stone, and he can't catch a fucking thing. Right. And you go, what the fuck, dude? You're so good. Why are you? Well, I don't know. I mean, it hits his hands perfectly, and he drops it. The ref will, set the ball a yard back from where the ball carrier actually went down, or a yard ahead from where he would have put down, or he'll call a first down when probably he shouldn't. There's little ways that you can.
Well, the infamous holding calls.
Holding, right. Bring it back. Great play, but bring it back. So I I think it's more than possible. And listen, I'm just going to say this. We can let it hang here. We know for a fact the NBA refs were caught gambling.
Oh, absolutely.
And caught cheating.
Several times.
Right. So, several times. It's happened every decade. So if you think it's happening in the NBA, but there's no way it could happen in the NFL, I'm sorry, you're smooth-brained. Period.
Okay. I'm writing down smooth-brained as a possible.
Yeah, that's a great. I haven't heard that in years. So thank you, Aaron, for that. That's such a great term. It's like mouth breather, but it's a little more funny.
Yep. I want to skip. I want to talk about something else. I'm gonna skip the Biden poll that we threw out there because it was obnoxious.
Yeah.
So we don't even need to get into that.
It got stupid. Yeah.
I want to talk about show 150 real quick.
Oh yes, yeah. Let's do it.
All right. So here's what we're gonna do. 2 weeks from today, we're gonna do show 150, and we can't think of a better way to do this than to treat it as a summit. So what we want to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to open up the show to everybody who is one of our patrons. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and you're going to see exactly how we're handling the show topics throughout the week, all the stories. We're going to dump all the stories rather than dumping them into our chat between Hefe, Fitz, and I. We're going to dump it into the Whiskey Hell chat. You will see, the whole goddamn week.
Yep.
You guys can comment on it. You guys can say whatever you want on it. We want you to go out and bring in your own stories. We're going to go through and still make the doc from any of the stories that are in there. Now, what you'll notice is the stories, not every story is going to make it. Okay, because there's some that are more important than others, some that we just don't give a shit about by the time we get to that night. Yeah.
And
some that
which
we put out there
just every week to us.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
right.
We
right.
Seriously, in our chat, we probably have 30 or 40 stories every week. And then, we go through and we only just put out the ones that are like the stuff that like really the cream of the crop, right? The cream of the crop, the rise to the top. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I do.
Anyway. So then you're going to get the docs just like you usually do. But then on the show, we want you guys to go ahead and come on. So it is going to be a massive... We don't want it to be a shit show. We want it to be we still want it to kind of keep the same whiskey hellness, but bring your beers. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about the news. We're gonna have fun with it. It's gonna be more of a celebration of what we're trying to what we're trying to do here. So
yeah,
you guys are gonna be a part of it.
Thought, 150 shows. That's nothing small, right? And one of the things that got us here was just this community of not only supportive people, but you guys. I mean, it goes beyond support. You guys encourage us. You keep us real. And so what better way for us to not give back, but just recognize all of you, than to have you on the show. And we've been courted before to have somebody on the show as a guest many times.
Sure.
And we've had a pretty strict no guest rule. This is Whiskey Hell, this is Fitz, this is McShane, and this is Hefe, and we want to keep it that way. But for this show, it seems right that our first guest should be all of you. So let's have some fun with it. Get ready for it. If you find a kick-ass beer while you're out in the next couple weeks, buy it and save it. We want it to be special and a big deal. So thank you all for everything you do for us. But fucking bring your A game that night. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. So more to come on that, but that's how we're gonna treat it, and we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun, and yes, the editing is gonna be fucking amazing.
Yes, it will.
It's gonna be fucking.
It's gonna be a 4-hour show.
No doubt about it. Thankfully, our podcast host is totally okay with that.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Let's get on with the news. Fitz, we got a hell of a lot of news to get to this week. So I think we've kind of already touched on the Podesta being the new Climate Czar, and it's not that big of a deal because John Kerry was finally kicked to the curb. I think the thing that shocked everybody really was that this guy it's come out that this guy is pretty much a pedophile. When you look at the weird, strange paintings in his home, you got the Pizzagate angles. You got he was Clinton's election manager. It screams payday for him. We're gonna hook you up later on, and it's such just an absurd czar position to go ahead and put somebody in. I was really surprised. I was really surprised that he was put in.
Me too. It seems either completely boneheaded or completely desperate. Either way, it's not a good look for the administration. I mean, I don't know who they're scoring points with by it. That's what I mean. Who do they think they're fooling with this? Or maybe they just want us more and more pissed off. Let's just keep poking the bear until there is an actual armed insurrection at the Capitol. And then we can say, see, we told you that they were cretins, and they have to all be put down. I don't know, because there's nothing about this pick that politically, socially, morally makes any sense at all. And they just did it anyway. Crazy.
It's very, very strange. I mean, you look at some of the art in his house.
Yeah,
some of it popping up on the screen right now.
Not okay. Not okay.
No, it's just it's really, really bizarre. It really is. This is the most bizarre one right here. The Viva Frey post. So it's just not cool. So we're gonna have to see what happens with this one. It doesn't make any sense. We talked at length about how the climate change bullshit is just that. It's bullshit. So adding this joker to it just screams it even more.
Yeah, and I guess the one silver lining to all this is that John Kerry did get kicked to the curb, because he's a fucking knob.
Right.
And he doesn't even know. I mean, on the few times that people have confronted him on the science, all he basically can say is, that's absurd. I'll have to check on that. That's absurd. He doesn't know the science. He doesn't know shit about shit. He's just the figurehead. And so the figurehead lost his usefulness. The useful idiot needs to go away now. And I'm sure he'll pop up in some political campaign this fall. But for right now, bye-bye.
Let's go to Cunty Colbert. Can we do that?
Oh my God, this fucking fuck stain.
So, well, you found this week. I blame you.
Yeah, please. Yes, please. No, good. Because
so awkward.
The thing is, I used to fuck with this guy. I used to like Stephen Colbert. When he was on The Daily Show, he was one of my favorite bits that they did. And the camaraderie between he and Jon Stewart, I loved him. And then he got his own show, and then he got on the Tonight Show or the Late Night or whatever it is. And I was all about it. And then the big turning point was that weird fucking vaccine musical he did with all the
dancing syringes.
Yes, that one. Yeah. And now here he is. We all know how fucked up the economy is, how we're just waiting for this giant bubble to pop. Worse than 2008, worse than anything we've seen. We're waiting for it. And then this dipshit comes out with this.
This is from his late night show. And let's see, I think it was from a few days ago, January 30th, it looks like. So well, go ahead and take a listen.
News for Biden, the economy is cooking right along. The Dow is north of 38,000 today. Wages are up, unemployment below 4% for 23 months in a row. And today, the Commerce Department announced the economy grew at 3.3% rate in the last quarter. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's a little technical, but according to macroeconomic theory, number go up equal good. Now, is that right? Can you check my math? Can you check me on that?
I got you.
You got that? Okay. For all last year, a bunch of people were predicting a recession, but instead, every economic indicator of Bidenomics is positive, or as the news people call it,
It's an economy that is cooling on the inflation front, but still showing growth on the spending front, the Goldilocks.
Perfect Goldilocks scenario.
We're getting some of that Goldilocks.
It is Goldilocks.
This is Goldilocks.
That's right, Jack. Things are going Goldilocks. Now look up. Look here. I'm serious, folks. I knew Goldilocks. Nice gal. Real particular about her porridge. Not me, though. Hot, cold, don't bother me. I'll toss that bowl down. Too sweet. Soft foods. Doctor's orders. The old mouth chiclets aren't what they used to be. But lost the words there a little bit. Can't win them every time. But even though it looks like there's no recession and the...
All right, so I'm going to stop right there for a second, just because now it gets worse than this.
Yeah, it does. If you think he was condescending before, just wait.
And the screen and the thing to remember here, I think, the news that they were showing, they were blatantly saying the same damn thing over and over again.
Yep.
The message went out.
Yep, exactly.
This is what we want you to say.
Yeah, you're proving our point for us. You're proving our point for us.
And if nobody's paying attention to that shit, it's bizarre that they were just that blatant with it. But maybe that's the whole point. We're going to say it. We're going to make it blatantly obvious. Or maybe we're all too tuned into this that we don't fall for this stuff. You know, we can see the Matrix, but that was frustrating to watch.
Oh, it's terrible.
All right,
I can't believe how condescending he got.
Oh yeah.
Number go up equal good. Shut the fuck up, you. Oh my God.
Which the number and okay, let's talk about the employment numbers real quick.
Yeah, please.
You aren't saying that the majority of those numbers are people who have two jobs now. You're not talking about the number of migrants who are working jobs as opposed to native people from the United States. You're not throwing those. You're just going to go ahead and say, well, you're calling attention things. Yeah. Numbers good. But none of that is good for the Americans.
Well, no, it isn't. And it's important to remember who's putting out those numbers. The industry,
government.
Labor Department, the government, the Treasury Department, fucking the Fed. And the funny thing about, you mentioned specifically the employment numbers, and this is true for everything I just mentioned, whether it's employment, the economy, housing, the real estate market. This is a true fact for all of those areas, that the administration puts out a number that is glorious for the administration, for the economy. It looks like the economy is going up. And then every single month, ever so quietly, they revise those numbers back down. So the truth of it, the facts are, the economy is slowly dying on the vine. But the numbers that they yell and scream from the top of the hilltop is that the economy, well, this fuckstick. I mean, look, he's the town crier, the town idiot, up there with his dunce cap on, screaming whatever they want him to scream. It's just terrible.
The economy looks good on paper. People feel like it's not bouncing back. And this bad feeling, the media has dubbed the vibe session. And I get it, but thankfully I have a foolproof way to bring the nation out of a vibe session. This is
Stephen Colbert's Vibe Session.
What's cooking, my fiscal cats? You out there counting your ducats? Let me brighten your economic outlook with my bongo sonic output. Hit it! Dig. You're drowning in dough, but you don't feel it because it's not yet bread. I'm talking that sweet pumpernickel, baby. Because I heard from a little bird that in 2023, the U.S. economy accelerated at a 2.5% annualized pace, and core prices for personalized consumption expenditures rose just 2% in the fourth quarter. No wonder, Janet's yelling. So no need to go slow, Joe. The vibe session will be jazz-suscitated. And if the economy starts this cooking in November, we'll make Trump a way gone daddy.
It really is gross. And people tune in for this shit.
Oh, yeah,
I just want to know
the crowd.
I just want to know how much he gets paid for it. That's how much are the writers paid? How much is he getting paid? I'm just curious. That's all. I mean, we all know that's what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That was tough to get through, and it really, boy, you want to talk about a flash of anger? I was hot about that all day. God, I was mad. You condescending asshole.
Well, it's all about you originally dug this guy,
right?
Because he did have sense. He did have common sense, and it was funny. But now it's so, for lack of a better term, cringe.
Yeah.
And it's so absurd. And it's so blatantly wrong. Like there's no truth in it at all. That's the frustrating part of it.
You know, I wonder if in 25 years, when he's, on his deathbed, or maybe he's just laying in bed, if he's going to look back and be like, God damn, I sold my soul. I sold my fucking soul. I started out as one thing, and then I met that devil on the corner, and he said, hey, I can promise you all these riches and all this fame and all this exposure, but you gotta sell your soul to me. And he did it. He's fucking Faust. I wonder if he's going to look back and think that. I wonder.
Well, I want to go ahead and go towards Representative Ayan Preseley, Democrat from Massachusetts, because she looks very close to the devil.
Mr. Speaker, Walgreens is planning to close yet another pharmacy in the Massachusetts 7th, this time on Warren Street in Roxbury, a community that is 85% Black and Latino. This closure is a part of a larger trend of abandoning low-income communities like the previous closures in Mattapan and Hyde Park, both in the Massachusetts 7th. When a Walgreens leaves a neighborhood, they disrupt the entire community, and they take with them baby formula, diapers, asthma inhalers, life-saving medications, and of course, jobs. These closures are not arbitrary, and they are not innocent. They are life-threatening acts of racial and economic discrimination. That is why I joined with Senator Markey and Warren to demand answers from Walgreens CEO. Why was there no community input, no adequate notice to customers, and no transition resources to prevent gaps in health care? Shame on you, Walgreens. Having a website with talking points about health equity and underserved communities is not enough. Walgreens is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that needs to put their money where their mouth is and stop divesting from Black and brown communities.
I swear he said gentleman's time has expired. Did
yes,
you say that?
He did.
Okay.
Yes, he did. And that's the best part of that whole video.
When did we get to the point where the outbursts like that get to dictate what type of position, fiscal outlook, business sense a company can have? If you're not making money, if the community is not being kept up, if there's massive crime waves and nobody cares about it, why would you stay? And why does she never talk about that?
Exactly. You know, they talk about the free market and how it's going to pull everybody out of poverty. And it's and yet then you talk about something like this and you're talking about communism. You're talking about the corner store needs to stay open for the greater good. No, it doesn't. Walgreens can do whatever. No, can do whatever the fuck it wants with whatever store. If it wants to shut down every Walgreens tomorrow, there is fuck all we can do about it. And the fact is, these stores in large urban areas are being raided and stolen from on such a high level. I mean, go to San Francisco. It's a travesty. Nothing can stay open there because they're taking such a loss. And yeah, the corporation's a multi-billion-dollar corporate. How do you think they got that big? Because they protect their assets. If you're in a fight and the dude you're fighting keeps hitting you with a right hook, are you going to expose the left side of your face to that every time? No. You're going to switch it up and be like, hey, that keeps hurting. I'm not going to expose my left side anymore. That's all Walgreens is doing. They're taking away the exposure of this ridiculousness and saying, look, we're not going to play the game. If you're going to treat this community store like a toilet, then we're going to pull it out. You're not going to have us to shit on anymore. And good for you, Walgreens. Fuck it.
Well, just to kind of take that a little bit farther. I mean, if you've got a gangrenous appendage that you cannot stop the infection, you cut it off.
Yep.
It's really pretty simple. But I still think, this is going back to that Mayor Johnson clip that we had months back where he was talking about wanting to have government stores. You're going to get a government pharmacy eventually in these places. You're going to get government groceries. And God help anybody who's in the downtown area, in your 15-minute cities, that's what you're going to have to deal with. You're not going to get your meds. You're going to get whatever the government has that Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're not going to get preferential treatment. You're not going to get your community clinic. You're going to get very little, and you're going to like it because that's all you got.
On top of that, I mean, I have partaken in government services, being part of the military, and gone to military stores. At least at the lower levels, the government doesn't go out and search for the best product at the lowest price. They go for the cheapest product, period. So if you think you're going to get the same quality you're getting now from a government store or government supply shop, whatever you want to call it, think again. Because at the end of the day, they don't give a fuck about you and me. The baby formula is going to be the cheapest they can find. You think that's going to be good for your baby? The clothes are going to be the cheapest they can find. You think those are going to last a year, 2 years, 5 years? Wake up, people. This is not a game. This is not a game to see what you can get away with until someone reacts, and then you go, oh, you're not allowed to react that way. No. Walgreens is taking their fucking ball, and they're going home. So now there's no more game. And the next game that's coming, it's gonna suck.
Hefe, how's your night going?
I've had better.
Good.
So there's good nights and bad nights.
Yeah.
But like once every 6 months or so, there's something that I call biblically bad.
Ooh.
That's happening tonight.
No.
Oh. So what are the 4 horsemen of a biblically bad night?
Well, it's basically just destroying everything in my path. It's busy out there, so it's not like one of those nights where there's nobody here. But I'm just crushing balls into dust. Every fucking table. Every single one.
You're the cooler, man.
It's been 3.5 hours and I have $6 in my box.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Yikes. I think I made more than that drinking that last beer.
It's just gross.
Damn, dude. I'm sorry. That's double tough, man.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Hey, I know you probably can't see it, but you're getting a lot of love in the chat. Everyone loves you, man. So, don't hang your head too low.
I'll do my best.
All right.
It won't last forever.
That's right.
Hey, Hefe, we were talking about the whole Taylor Swift Chiefs Super Bowl business. What are your thoughts on the NFL being rigged?
Um, yeah, it breaks my heart just to think about it because that's been my favorite, sport since I was a little boy. And but some of the things you see are just, it's too hard to not look at. It's too hard to not notice it.
Yep.
And the fact that there's so much money involved, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they script? Yep. So I try not to think about it because it, like I said, it breaks my heart, and it's, I don't know. I guess it's just like anything else. It's just a business.
What
they must.
Sorry, go ahead.
They must be paying a lot of people a lot of money though to not say anything.
Well, yeah, I think a few people, have said something after they retire or whatever, and then they get slapped with a giant non-disclosure lawsuit.
Yeah.
So I mean that to me even lends more credence to the fact that it's happening. I mean, they're really good. Casinos are really good at being subtle with giving themselves an advantage, right? Like roulette. It would be a straight up game, except then they add in, the zeros, the green and the regular zero and the double zero. That puts a slight edge back to the house. Same with blackjack. Same with any game that you're playing there. There's always a slight edge to the house. And so when people are like, you can't rig a whole game, you're right. But they can certainly put the edge to the house. And like you said, man, it's about the money. If there's money to be made, guarantee there's fucking cheaters. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I wonder if the players are in on it too. I wonder if they know. Because football, you can rig football. They can call holding on any player, any play, if they want to. But like a sport like baseball, I was thinking about this the other day. Like baseball would be really hard to rig unless the players were in on it. Because you notice when the umpire's calling a strike when it's not a strike. People notice that shit. And I mean, the rest of it is just black and white. It's foul and fair balls, and I mean, that just seems like a really hard sport to rig, baseball, because there's no penalties.
Well,
penalties are like
shoeless Joe Jackson. I mean,
yeah.
You do have these instances.
Well, he was a player. He was in on it. That's what I'm saying.
That's what. Yeah.
That's yeah.
Well, and I brought up the point earlier. You'll have a wide receiver who just is, his hands are coated with honey. Like he catches everything within a mile of him. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, on one specific drive, his hands turn into fucking rocks and he can't catch shit. And you can play percentages or whatever, but it would be really easy to make your hands a little bit too stiff. Even though the ball's hitting you in the hands, you still miss the catch. It would be easy to do that.
Yeah.
Just to stop a first down. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. I'm with you. It makes me sad to even think about it. But
yeah.
So, can you think of two politically charged storylines though that are better than this? So you've got San Francisco, who's been absolutely beaten on for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Fentanyl, poor. Xi shows up, China flags, all the poor leave, all the street urchins are out of there. Xi comes, goes, and all the poor and the homeless are back. And then you've got the whole Taylor Swift story. This is a boon for both.
Yep.
And it's in Las Vegas, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have San Francisco as a 2.5 point favorite right now. I'm picking I will put a bet in and I will pick the Chiefs.
I don't know how you bet against the Chiefs. I don't know how someone could bet against the Chiefs. I mean, I was surprised when I saw the line when it came out last week. It was 1, and now it's up to 2 or 2.5.
Yeah.
San Francisco is a good team. They're really good. But I mean, how do you bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs after seeing what they're doing? I don't know. Detroit handed that game to San Francisco.
Yep, they did.
So
in a suspect way also. You were talking about
Yes.
that in chat too, that why do you not kick that field goal?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of who they are. They love to go for it on fourth down, but that shouldn't have been the case in that one time. I mean, they're trying to step on their necks, you know, when a field goal would have stepped on their neck. You make it a 3-possession game halfway through the third quarter.
Well, and I mean, I understand, like, hey, my my team identity is to go for it on fourth down, but in that important of a game, I'm going percentages, right? I'm going to put the percentages on my side. And I would kick that field goal.
I would have too.
It was very strange. It was very, very strange. But they're going to get way better eyes on TV when you've got San Francisco versus Detroit.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely true. Yep.
Detroit still a city? Still there, right?
Yeah, I think parts of it are. The parts that still have water that doesn't give you cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a You guys need a drink.
I'd love to be drinking right now. Fuck this, man. I don't even want to go back out there. That's how bad it is.
Dude, fake a tailbone injury or something. Like I can't stand anymore because my fucking tailbone. It's sending shockwaves up to my brain. I think I might have a seizure. I have to go home. Bye.
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 I'm gonna take my box.
Just peace out. Yeah, take your $6 $1 bills and go fuck off the rest of it. Hey, that's a beer. $6 is a beer.
Yeah.
So Hefe, show 150 is coming up, and we did drop that we're going to have our listeners on for show 150. So we're going to have all the Patreons on. So beware.
Yeah, it's going to be a zoo that night.
Sweet. This is 146 right now? 147.
48.
This is 148.
Exactly.
Yep, just like you said.
Yep.
Beard said you need to open an OnlyFans now.
Cover
what if you did the naked blackjack dealer?
Ooh. Oh, what if you shuffled with, you know how guys do the helicopter thing with their dicks? Yeah. What if that's how you shuffled the cards?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Just with my helicopter.
Yeah, you just swing, and you hit the deck, and it just goes all over the room, and then you pick them up in random order. That's a shuffle.
That counts. 52 pickup.
Yeah, exactly. With my dick.
And you're naked, so chicks are gonna totally watch.
Tips would come pouring in. Tips for the tip.
I'll see you later, bud.
All right, so it sounds like you're heading back inside.
I'm heading back inside.
All right. Well, we will definitely catch you at the 10:20.
Yeah, dude, and I'm sending all the positive fucking money vibes your way. Hopefully, you sit down and there's a whale, and you both just make a shit ton of money.
Well, I'm going into 2 blackjack tables and an Ultimate Texas Hold'em. It's usually a good little 3-ball.
There you go.
So if this fails, then I know it's tailbone time.
There you go. Bam. I love it.
Titties and green.
Okay. All right. We'll see you in a little bit.
All right, man. Later.
All right.
Fitz, I think we're ready for beer 2.
Oh yeah, I do have to say, my prediction was correct. This beer made me finish quick. This would have been one of those nights where you could go 3 or maybe even 4 times. And I'm not saying me now as like, an almost 50-year-old man, but I'm saying like back in the day when you go and then you're like, I could do another one. And I'm like, yeah, I could do another one. Because they're just, rapid succession. That's what this beer felt like. Like you could down a 4-pack of these, no problem, and still feel like you're ready for another at least another BJ.
All right. Well, there's hey, you gotta love when you can get off twice in one night. That's a beautiful thing.
What? How did your beer finish? Did it warm up at all, or did it just?
Easy. No,
okay.
It was fine.
Okay.
It was easy.
Okay,
but it was exactly what I expected. I guess that's the takeaway from it. English mild ale. That's what it was. Nothing else about it. Nothing. They didn't try to do anything more. It was just a simple English mild ale, which there is some beauty in that when you know exactly when they live up to exactly what it is, because that type of beer is an art form in of itself. It's basic, and sometimes you just want basic. They nailed it.
Dude, it's fucking fish and chips in newspaper. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one thing the British do really well.
Really good. Yep. Exactly. Totally agree.
Yep.
All right. Beer 2's coming up.
Let's do it.
All right, Fitz. Beer 2. I'm going with an RAR Brewing. RAR Brewing. This is Devil's Pie. Yeah. That's
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they do a lot of different beers. They do a lot of sours, actually. I get a lot of their sours out here.
Okay.
Just shot Imperial Stout all over me, which is good.
Nice.
12.4. Now, they call this an extended boil. Our first extended boil Imperial Stout finished 12.4% ABV. With the longer boil, we were able to thicken our base. Everybody likes a thick base.
Yes,
and
sir.
caramelize our wort to levels we didn't think possible. We then transferred this full, rich, silky, chocolatey goodness on top of organic cocoa nibs to enhance the natural dark chocolate characteristics of our roasted malts. I don't think I've had this beer before. I'm not going to go back and check. I'm just going to enjoy it. This is viscous, going to that thick base.
Take this for what it's worth, but in my memory, I don't remember you having this beer before. Now, we drink every show, so some of my memories aren't, 100%. But just don't. I don't remember. I don't remember having.
I don't think I have. I know I've had other RARs, but not necessarily this one.
Right.
I'm getting malty banana right out of the gate.
Oh.
Ooh, and some smoke. Chocolate, smoke, banana. It is This is a nipple sucking beer.
Heyo. McShane just got sexual.
It is a nipple sucking beer.
That's a chug moment.
Yeah. Oh. Dark chocolate. They should have named it Double's Cream Pie. That would have been way better. So to speak. I'm digging that one.
Nice.
I'm surprised by the smoke though. I really am. That's gonna be fun. We'll see how that warms up. What do you got?
Oh, well, we've got a new brewery that just opened up in the last, I'd say, probably year, up in Portland.
Okay.
And again, I won't go literally within 100 miles of Portland, but it's nice they get their beers shipped all over the state. So it's a new brewery called Oak Union. At least they're new to me. Now, we might get on the website and we might find that they've been around since 1998. I just have only been starting to get their beers down here fairly recently. So Oak Union. And I like the vibe of this place. They do a lot of, number one, they have a lot of great artwork. There you go. That's kind of the vibe of the whole brewery. Is just
right off the bat, you got a Baltic style porter. I'm kind of in love.
That's what I'm drinking tonight.
No.
That's what I'm having is the Guillotine.
Right.
Now, I did a little bit of research because, that's the kind of nerd I am. Yep. Guillotine is an actual Baltic mythological creature. She's a demon. A number of the gods in the Baltic pantheon have authority over death. But the duty of Giltine, sister of Lima, is to kill people when their time comes. This is uncommon and plays a role in people's perception of the Baltic paganism over its as overly deterministic. This morbid figure collects her death poison by roaming the graveyards and licking corpses with her serpentine tongue.
Oh, this is
Quite
so
an
your
occupation
beer.
For a goddess. Exactly. How could I not, right? Giltine delivers the kiss of death and is sometimes thought to work with her sister, who determines the time for every living being's end. She is depicted as extremely thin and pale, usually wearing white. So I'm picturing basically like a female Marilyn Manson. Or is he female? Is she? I don't know. A Marilyn Manson type figure is what I'm picturing, with a serpentine tongue, like a bifurcated tongue.
Yeah.
Sometimes she is a snake or an owl, two very common images of death. So that's who Giltine is. That's who these people named their beer after. It is a 9% Baltic Porter. I'm so excited for this beer. You have no idea how long I've been keeping this thing, waiting for the right night, and it just seemed appropriate tonight. So here we go.
I don't know how you sat on that one for that long. That looks fun. I mean, I'm a sucker for Baltic style porters, so.
Yeah, we both are. Oh shit.
Yeah,
dude, this is everything you want in a Baltic porter. The heavy, earthy, roasted malts, but then you get that light carbonation on the back. And then it finishes with almost, dare I say, a like a oakish vanilla flavor on the end. Really, really complex, really clean. Just a super clean finish. Like you drink it, it's down, it's gone. You're never gonna see this girl again. But she gave you the night of your life.
How's the protein content in it? You know what I mean? Because Baltics always have that meaty robustness that comes along with them. That's very unique to a Baltic.
Correct. I would say it's a medium, not heavy, but it's. I mean, you can definitely tell you're drinking a Baltic because that meatiness is there. Those earth kind of grounding flavors, but
Right.
it's not. It doesn't overshade anything. It's really, really nice to drink. Great mouthfeel. The head is exactly what you want from a Baltic. Just that light tan, slight thin covering.
Yep.
Oh God, this is a good beer. I couldn't wait anymore. I'm like, this is the night. I have to drink this one.
That's fantastic.
And I'm so glad I did. Yeah, it's
Good.
super good. So this
Good.
kind of looks like Giltine looks like what the Grim Reaper would have been based off of, except that this is a female, and the Grim Reaper I think is generally depicted as a man. The artwork on this, it's not just. What I love about it is it's not just a winged angel of death. The way the scythe and the wings go, it makes this perfect circle. Yep. And I'm drawn to this artwork. It's just really very well done. Beautiful.
It'd be a hell of a patch.
Oh yeah, it would. Or a sticker.
Like sticker, patch, like that could be like right in the middle of a shirt. I mean, that says to me that that's a shirt waiting to happen. Oh, like if they don't have that in their shop as a shirt, I would be really shocked.
Yeah, they're doing it wrong if they don't. Yeah, see, I think a lot of it's just that oak tree emblem.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's a good
great
pull.
beer.
Good job.
Yeah,
so,
and the other beers that I've had from them are solid. I will say this is their best offering so far, but they're a solid brewery.
Cool. All right. Well, we've got a new brewery to go to then.
Yeah. Yes.
The Whiskey Hell Insiders chat is full of lightsabers and guns. So I hope everybody drank after Beard pulled out his piece. That was very well done. I mean, gun, sidearm. Sorry. Well, you take that for however you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, for some guys it's a sidearm. For me, it's a front arm.
All right.
So comes out the front. Sorry, that was bad. But drink.
Joe's going to East Palestine, Fitz. Finally, it only took him a year.
Yeah, he is. Why now? That's why I found this story interesting. Why now?
No, it's just for the election. There's no other reason.
You can't know, but okay. You can absolutely oversimplify it by saying it's for the election, but why now? If it was for the election, wouldn't he have waited for like June, July? Why January?
Well,
late January.
When is the Ohio primary?
Okay. That's a good thing to know. That's a good call.
Let's see here. This is not helpful. It's got to be pretty soon. South Carolina was today.
Yeah, it was.
Which, shocking, he won.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? No, this isn't right. Oh, March 19th, 2024.
March 19th.
So,
yeah,
you're right. He's still a little early.
Far away.
He's still a little early.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I think it's still insulting. He waited a whole year to go. I don't know if he was waiting for the the chemical cloud to go away, or the water to be a little bit filtered. But that's just insulting.
Well,
he's decided to go out there now.
To that point, and this holds true for Maui or any of the major disasters that we had back in 2023. But where are we at with those stories? I mean, there's like radio silence on all of that. I mean, are we rebuilding Maui? Is there an active cleanup going on in East Palestine? Are the trains running through there again? These are questions that we all should have, and also these are questions we all should have answered. Like, we shouldn't be wondering what's going on in East Palestine. That should be remember when 3 Mile Island happened? That shit was in the news for eight months. When Chernobyl happened, we knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet here, these natural disasters, quote unquote, natural with Maui, or unnatural disasters happen, and we haven't heard shit about it for months. Either one of them. All we hear about is California right now.
We should, let's do a little research for next week's show and see if we can come up with what's going on in Maui. Because I'm sure there's some stuff that's being buried. So I haven't heard anything good coming out of it. Like,
no,
we're rebuilding. Look at where we are from 6 months ago to now.
Well, and that's just it, isn't it? It's like, if it was good, if they were doing something for the people of Maui, we would absolutely fucking hear about that.
Right.
Because that's election fodder. The fact that we're not hearing anything makes me believe that either something nefarious is going on or nothing's happening, and they don't want us to know.
So we will get into that. Mark Cuban. I've never hired anyone based exclusively on race, gender, or religion. I only ever hire the person that will put my business into the best position to succeed. And yes, race and gender can be part of the equation. He just said in the first paragraph of his tweet.
I don't. Yep.
He doesn't do that. And then in the third, he completely blows that up. Now, how would you propose finding organizations that give preference to white people? Why aren't you working as hard to show examples of white preference as you are DEI? So this was an exchange between the Rabbit Hole on X, at the Rabbit Hole. Good follow.
And good on whoever that is, because at every point they challenged Cuban. I mean, watching Mark Cuban get wrecked on this whole thing was like one of the highlights of my week. This was it was a great thread. People chimed in and were definitely behind the Rabbit Hole. Some DEI fuckwits came on and wanted to make their point that we've been oppressed. Yeah, shut the fuck up. We're talking about a meritocracy. Period. Based on your merit as a human being, as a worker, as somebody who can contribute to my company. That's what I'm basing it on.
That should be all that matters. Period.
Yep.
Nothing else should be going into that. Now, this is where things went sideways for him, and this was amazing. Andrea R. Lucas, EEOC commissioner, At Mark Cuban, EEOC commissioner here. Unfortunately, you're dead wrong on black letter Title 12 law. As a general rule, race, sex can't even be a motivating factor, nor a plus factor, tiebreaker, or tipping point. It's important employers understand the ground rules here. I've never seen an EEOC commissioner, anybody from the government, come out and slap somebody so fucking hard, and that was amazing.
No, it was great. It was absolutely the one of the best threads to follow this whole week. I kept checking on it every day, and just watching people. I mean, after the first probably 12 hours, it was just a bunch of people repeating themselves. But it was great to see how many people fucking get it. How many people are saying, "Hey, the law says this. This is how we have to operate." And not only does it say this, it's the right way to do things. It was phenomenal. It was really fun. Fuck Mark Cuban, by the way.
So I'm looking forward to see what happens with him. I guarantee you he's going to get sued. Somebody's going to sue the fuck out of him.
Well, yeah, the first person. Do you understand the fucking eggshells he's walking on right now? Because the first person he lets go, if they're black or any minority, Asian, Mexican, whatever, he's fucked. If they're white, he's fucked. Like no matter which way he turns now, if he lets someone go, someone high up, he's screwed.
Yep.
And that makes me so happy.
Yep. So the new BRICS countries, Argentina decided we're not going to play games.
Yeah.
But a report came out of South Africa saying that 5 countries confirmed they are going to join BRICS. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Emirates. Now, do you feel like the bombings that have just started over the last few days between the United States and, well, we're pretty much bombing supposedly anything that Iran has any kind of touch on outside of Iran, because we're not going to bomb Iran directly.
Not yet.
Is this about the Houthis? Is this about the Middle East, or is this about BRICS? Because I think that's being underreported.
I agree, and I think there's a good argument to be made that, I mean, can you spell retribution? Like, okay, on a world stage, you're going to go ahead and join this rival gang.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then we're going to start, cutting your people in the middle of the night. You put one of ours in the hospital, we're going to put one of yours in the morgue, kind of thing. And I think it's a multiple front. In today's world, nothing is just what it seems. It's never just one thing.
It's not that easy. Yeah.
No, it's political. It's also, the theater of war is the Middle East. It always was going to be the Middle East. I mean, hell, even Nostradamus said World War III would start in the place of Jerusalem. I mean, it has to be that theater. Iraq and Afghanistan were just setups for us to establish bases there, which is I'm still scratching my head why we gave up Bagram. Anyway, that's not for this show. But so I think it's a multi-pronged approach to shut down politically, economically, militarily the Middle East and cripple them. Because what's the one hottest commodity right now is oil. And we've controlled Iraq's oil fields, Kuwait's. We've got control of certain parts of Afghanistan, which there's oil fields there. But now the big dogs are the Saudis and the Iranians and the United Arab Emirates. And so let's start the attacks. Like I said, multi-pronged.
And we're also pumping out more oil than we have, I think, is ever.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
So, I mean, hence why you saw, gas drop.
Right.
But now it's starting to go back up because of all the tension in the Middle East. So it's very suspect to me. It's very, very suspect to me that that's happening.
Same. And it was sort of a joke, but it's not a joke. But I basically said, okay, well, I see how, the world stage is being set up now. It's going to be NATO versus BRICS. I mean, that's not 100% cleavage point. Like, not everybody on our side is with NATO and not everybody on their side is with BRICS, but 90% of those countries are with one or the other, or soon to be. And so, you know, it really does scream of, you know, the Warsaw Pact, you know, dissolved. Russia's been looking for, you know, some way to exert their global weight around the world. And so they came up with BRICS with China. And now more countries are joining it. And it really does look like an East versus West setup. And yes, I did say cleavage.
We've talked about European farmers. Pretty much, if there's a European country, they have a farmer. I'll just come out and say a farmer problem. Farmers are done. They are pretty much anything that they can possibly do. They've encircled Paris. So they're cutting off Paris. You have European countries that no longer have frozen food because there's no farmers are not farming. They're not trying to put out any kind of food. They're going to choke off the rest of the country. It's been pretty amazing. Brussels, that's been a hot spot. You've got rubber bullets being used, water cannons. Every day you see another picture of somebody who's shooting manure on a federal building. Hats off to those guys.
Yeah.
That's how you protest, not this, let's go and throw some soup on a fucking painting. This is actually getting something done. This is getting you're getting noticed when this stuff happens.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean that's even despite the mainstream media's huge attempt to keep this out of the public eye. It doesn't matter. People are on the ground and they're showing it. They're showing what's really happening, and it's amazing. Look at that fucking fires. I think I said this last week too, but I'll say it again. My respect for the French, particularly the French farmers. Hey, this drinks to you. Cheers to the French farmers. Good on you guys.
I like that.
That's a proper protest.
I don't think I've drank to the French before, but fucking A.
Exactly. Tonight's the night, God damn it. They're French fries again. Woo!
Literally.
Oh shit.
You had some weather that you wanted to get into. Do you want to dabble in that? We're going to turn back to the other stories that we've had throughout the US. So, let's talk about California and the weather that's coming in there.
Yeah. So I'll keep it brief. I know sometimes I get lost in the weeds, and I've had mixed reviews. I think some people love it. They love how much of a weather nerd I am, and other people are like, okay, I actually fast forwarded through that part, which is fine. You have that option. So you're not going to hurt my feelings. I don't have any, so you can't hurt them. But
my weather heart is dead inside. I got it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But truly, that ARC event that I talked about last week, and if you didn't have a listen, go back and listen to my piece on that. I think it was a pretty succinct, explanation of it. But that ARC event that people were talking about, that this was a possibility, that kind of a weather pattern lasts for weeks. I mean, we're talking, there was a rainstorm. Shit, I should have looked up the year. I will. I will find the year. But they had like 43 straight days of rain in California. 43 straight days. And most of it was very heavy rain. So when you're talking about that, I mean, it cost up to that point, it was like the biggest natural disaster in U.S. history. This is not that. This is going to be a few rounds of some very heavy rain and some mountain snow. There will be flooding. There will be property loss. There certainly should not be life lost. If you're losing your life in this thing, you're living under a rock and you deserve to drown. Sorry. Yeah. But so a couple of terms that's been thrown around. Bomb cyclone has been thrown around, that this storm's going to be a bomb cyclone. I checked out the NAM. I checked out the GFS. I checked out the European models. I checked every model, and none of them have a bomb cyclone scenario. And those are not like life enders, but what a bomb cyclone is that the pressure in the middle of this storm drops more than 24 millibars in 24 hours. Well, this one's going to drop about 18 millibars in 24 hours. So it's close. It's definitely going to be a storm. It's going to be a history maker. It's going to dump a lot of rain. But you're not looking at that, that huge, like climate event where, a bomb cyclone happens and you're dropping feet in, 3 or 4 feet of rain in 2 hours. That's not what this is. So yes, it's a big one. I'm really pleased that the Phoenix metro area and even like the Four Corners area, you guys are going to get a lot of rain and snow up there, which you need. And so that's great. LA, San Francisco, even San Diego. Yeah, there's a lot of rain, but for the most part, there's places for all that water to go. So it shouldn't be a life-threatening situation. Yes, some cars are going to get damaged. Yes, some homes are going to get flooded. But for the most part, I think we lucked out on this one. Now, there's a couple of waves. One's hitting now. There's going to be another one come Tuesday or Wednesday. But none of them are going to be, epic. They're just going to be a little bit concerning.
You know what would have been cool if California had actually built reservoirs that they could have, taken all this water in.
Yeah.
Had a few more actual lakes.
Well, like Arizona's I said, that used to be a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arizona has done a pretty solid job managing our water. We do. We do. We have to.
You have to, right.
We don't have any choice. California, you guys could have done better. So all of this opportunity, you're missing out. Tabby's being a guy.
She just was a guy. Drank
a lot. Beard wants to see you in front of a green screen and do the weather.
Dude, you know what? I've actually entertained that thought, that idea of just going to meteorological school, but I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe I have.
You like it though.
For it.
I mean, you
I love it. I love it. I totally geek out on it. I mean, every day I geek out on not just the Pacific Northwest weather, which I love, and it's one of my favorite things about moving up here is how dynamic the weather can be, especially at this time of year.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I want to do that for a job. Because most people who go to meteorological school end up being, the data collector behind a desk somewhere for NOAA, or for the National Weather Service. And I don't, that's not me. If I could be guaranteed getting on some local news station somewhere and I fucking killed it, that would be awesome. But, I like my job and I like doing the weather here for everybody because I feel like I go a little bit deeper than most people do, most weather people do. Because I know our audience can handle it. So I go deep. Go deep or go home. Right, ladies?
Hey, so a raccoon took out the power in Toronto.
The memes on this one were so fantastic.
You had beautiful.
You had images of God damn it, the Nutcracker Suite. The Rat King.
Yes.
But they superimposed a raccoon, and then you had pictures of Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. You had just so many amazing GIFs and memes from this. It was amazing. And I didn't really find out. How do they know it was a raccoon? Did they have video footage of him?
I don't know. They're definitely blaming the raccoon.
Yeah, it just seems suspect. There's no pictures of the raccoon. Who is this fucking guy? Should we be looking for him? Did he get away? Did he fry himself? What happened?
Thousands were out of power though. As per Hydro One, a raccoon was behind Toronto's 3 to 3.5 hour power outage. To my knowledge, Arizona has never had a power outage due to a raccoon.
No. Now, you don't have a lot of raccoons there. I mean, there are some up in the North Country. We have a lot of them here. And I'm seeing Mike in the chat saying that they have a raccoon problem. I wouldn't say we have a raccoon problem. I have a raccoon. I've got cameras all around my house that are motion sensitive, and I've got a raccoon that probably 3 to 4 nights a week visits my backyard looking for anything that might be edible, especially during the summer when I have my garden going. So I really have to be careful because, they're so smart. They know how to do locks and latches. And so I've got to keep that locked down pretty good. But nothing to the point where I fear a power outage because of one. And one last point. Doesn't this point to how vulnerable our power grid is, that a large rodent can cripple an entire city? Isn't that scary?
Oh, yeah. We have, you can go ahead and let some Mylar balloons go up and under some the 69 kV lines, the big lines coming into the valley, and you can take out power for thousands and thousands and 70,000 customers could be out of power just like that.
Unbelievable.
The whole terrorism aspect of this, I mean,
yeah.
Trash Panda aside, it's not that hard. If you really wanted to put the effort into doing it, it wouldn't be that hard to do it. It is really, really scary. Our infrastructure, while it may be great, and we are so far ahead of third and second world countries, it is so vulnerable. It is really, really scary. And that when you talk about how many we've talked about what's in the news already. How many questionable folks have come into the country. Yeah, it's scary shit. It's not that hard to take out, or it's not that hard to take out, the water.
Right.
Water treatment
plants.
That's
the scary one. Yeah. I have this image in my head, and you tell me how.
Hey, what do you think about having a Steroid Olympics?
I actually, the more I read about this, I was like, I'd fucking watch that. I would watch that. And I would also watch the regular Olympics. Like it wouldn't take the place of or supplant the regular Olympics. No, it just would be like, all right, let's see how far a person can take the human body with using everything at their disposal, that they can use steroids and everything they can do, HGH, go for it. And now I want to see what's the heaviest weight you can lift. And what would be really cool? Here's the coolest part about the whole thing is to see how much better the steroid athletes were than the regular athletes and how much separation there really is. Because, between male and female athletes, there's about a 30% difference between, the fastest male and the fastest female, about 30%, sometimes a little more, but that's general. I wonder if there would be a huge difference between the steroidal and the non-steroidal, and we could measure those stats.
Totally.
That'd be fun.
So the whole setup on this is Silicon Valley billionaire Peter Thiel is throwing his financial muscle behind Olympics on steroids. So they're going to organize an Olympics that is going to be total. You can use whatever you want. It does not matter. You want to go out there, and my understanding anyway is you want to go out there and do some coke before getting on the blocks and running your 100. I think that's probably be okay with this.
Dude runs a 7-second 100-meter dash.
He never stops. He just keeps going.
Right. We can't find him to give him his medal. He's gone.
So I'm going to throw this out here, and everybody get ready to drink because of pronouns. But so you've got somebody who's mid-transition or has transitioned.
Okay.
And they're on testosterone. This seems like this is where they should be competing. Right? I mean, it seems like that's the place for me.
Yes. No. 100%. And then, what I was also thinking about was you have these trans athletes that are crossing over and competing with whatever sex they think they are, or they want to be, and they set records, but you can always put an asterisk and say, but it was the Steroid Olympics, so it doesn't count.
Right.
But it still so you get the best of both worlds. They still get to compete, but it's not an actual record with an actual athlete. On the other side of that, I would love to see, and I'm going to use Bo Jackson here. I mean, for those of you who know, you know.
Yep.
The athlete, the fucking monster that this person was back in the day. He was the perfect blend of speed and power. For a Bo Jackson to come in without steroids, but for him to raise his hand and be like, I'll compete against the steroid athletes, and then fucking wreck all of them. Just beat him in the 50-yard dash, beat him in the 100, beat him in weightlifting, beat him in how far he can hit a fucking baseball, whatever the events are. He would just school all of them, be like, hey, this is just corn hash. I just eat really well. Fuck off. And then walk away. Just mic drop. Done.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Oh, it'd be so great. So great.
I'm all about this. I am all in. I think I don't even think it's a gimmick. I really don't. I think you could go ahead. You could have it. ESPN would take this. I mean, hell, that'd be the best sports content ESPN has had on in years, probably.
Imagine the ratings.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Through the
Absolutely.
roof.
You're starting a completely different record book, right? You can add way more sports as it gets more intense. You could have a steroid baseball league at that point. You could spin off so much to this. And it's not taking away from the actual quality. Yes, it is going to make everything it's going to be a little bit unnatural, right? Just like the McGuire Sosa home run chase, right? I mean, that was absurd.
Right.
But that's what it's going to be. It's going to be normal. You're going to have dudes who are 5'6" hitting 40 jacks a season.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's going to be a little bit Marvel movie, right?
Yes.
I mean, these guys are going to be superheroes, and they're going to burn out quick, and then you move on.
And some of them may die. But that's what they chose to do. It's their body. It's their choice. I'm all in on it. I think it's a fascinating thing to have happen. It's weird to say that, but
yeah. No, it feels like a natural evolution of sport.
So the competition is going to start off with 5
just
events.
Real quick, for the chat, Tabby, I just want to tell you that this very dark, delicious beer is invading my nether regions, and it's getting very hot and very wet and very swollen over here. So go ahead and take those last 2 shots, because just know that I'm over here. Shane, did I lose you there?
So I'm looking forward to the Steroid Olympics. I think it's gonna be fascinating. So I think that's serious progress. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Me too. And like you said, the ratings would be through the roof, because it'd be just a fucking shit show to watch, and so fun. Yeah, it's gonna be good stuff.
So about 3 weeks ago, we had this Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I'm wondering if this is even a big deal anymore, because the Tox report came out. But these 3 friends froze to death on their buddy's porch. Apparently, this buddy of theirs, and it wasn't what was the guy's name? This was not the best. Let's try this news story. Police have identified 3 men who were found dead behind a Kansas City home earlier this month. Kansas City, Missouri police confirmed Clayton McGeeney, Ricky Johnson, and David Harrington were discovered dead on the night of January 9th after the fiancé of one of the victims called police searching for her partner. Now, these guys were actually over at a Chiefs game, or not a Chiefs game, but over at their buddy's house, watching the Chiefs, and they froze to death in the backyard. This was something that we've seen a little bit of it, but it didn't seem like it was a big deal, and I think because it was the Chiefs, kind of ignored it. But this was really, really bizarre.
I think what's so bizarre, well, not bizarre, but just the most telling about this is when the Tox report came back, they had, copious amounts of quite a few drugs, but fentanyl was in there. And I just, the fentanyl crisis in this country, and it is a crisis. I mean, for any of you who have any kind of addicts in your life, fentanyl is not only dangerous, but it is so overly, unbelievably addictive. It's just seriously bad stuff, and it's flooding our streets, and we're losing people every day. And so we kind of talked about this earlier in the week when this story was kind of developing, that they had to have had something more than just some pot and a few beers. Your body, when you drink too much alcohol, your body will vomit it up, and sometimes you can die from that, just asphyxiation or whatever. But not three guys, all together. But as soon as you heard fentanyl was in their system, god damn, that stuff. I mean, if this isn't a lesson for anybody who's even thought about taking that shit, stay the fuck away from it. Or I mean, there are consequences.
Jordan Willis's house. He's supposedly, this guy is like a mad chemist. And these guys were found with cocaine and fentanyl and a few other things in their system. And he since, before the talk screen came out, he put himself into rehab thinking that was going to help.
Right.
But he slept like 2 days.
Yeah.
Before he even woke up and knew that these guys were dead outside his house. How does that even fucking happen? Unless you're just whacked out of your mind.
Yeah, I will say he's way whacked out of his mind. And also, it was sub-zero temperatures. The bodies froze. Like, it's not like he would have smelled them. It's not like anything would have smelled them. They would have just frozen hard in place in his backyard, which is fucking tragic. Like, I honestly, I hope they OD'd before they froze to death and not the other way around. Because freezing to death, I've been cold. I've been cold for extended time, and it's the worst. It is the absolute worst. You can feel your body shutting down, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I just hope that they OD'd, had an aneurysm or their heart blew up or whatever, and then they just froze in place. But I could definitely see it happening if he was as you say, some mad chemist putting, God knows what into this mixture. Cocaine, fentanyl, weed. I think there was a couple other things in there too. God, kids, let this be a lesson. Like, if you're gonna do drugs, do it with someone who knows what the fuck they're doing and can guide you through it and make sure that you're not gonna kill yourself, because this is just dumb. It's a tragedy. It's terrible. These people have families.
Or at least rely on Elmo.
I mean, he does give good drug advice, which is basically his message is, don't do drugs.
Yeah, we got 1,000 likes out of posting a meme to Elmo's wellness check the other day, and I didn't realize it.
Oh, yeah.
At the time that it was even that kind of a big deal, but apparently Elmo has just made huge inroads with like the whole world. Like, everybody's just like on board with Elmo. So you can go ahead and you can follow Elmo on X, and he's going to reach out to you, and he's going to check on you. Oh, here, wait a second. We got some Elmo here. Here, let's listen to Elmo.
Lots of emotions like happy, sad, surprised, and frustrated.
Elmo has touched countless lives for more than 4 decades, and this week that connection proving stronger than ever.
Well, it's very important to check on your friends and see how they're doing, because maybe they're not doing okay, or maybe they are, but it's good to talk about it.
Our favorite furry friend reacting on the Today Show to the wave of emotional venting on social media this week when he posted 9 seemingly simple words. Elmo is just checking in. How is everybody doing? Thousands opened up with the good, vibing, thriving, one person wrote, and mostly the bad. I'm having a quarter-life crisis right now, someone posted, adding, I'm mentally burnt out and I have a lifetime of working to go. Even President Biden and celebrities weighing in. T-Pain told Elmo, I'm just looking for somebody to talk to and show me some love, if you know what I mean. Elmo, alongside his proud dad Louie, says he's glad he asked.
40,000 responses. We don't even know how to count that high yet, do we?
That's right. I only got to 11.
The The surprising response prompting Sesame Street to post resources for emotional well-being. All thanks to a heartfelt check-in straight from
Elmo's wonderful world.
Emily.
I can't think of a worse Muppet there is. I truly can't.
I mean, remember when people, it's funny that he's the face of mental health, when people were literally killing each other, trampling each other to get the Tickle Me Elmo for Christmas one year.
Oh, God.
Actually, it happened a few years. Yeah. People died. People died because of you fucking red shit stain. I mean, here's the thing. Here's what this says to me is that a Muppet, an inanimate, not real thing, puts out a tweet like, hey, just checking in. Is everyone okay? And people aren't. Like, our mental health in this country is in serious trouble. We're in a bad way here. And I mean, I'm not putting myself in that category. And I am here for anybody who needs a mental health check-in. I get it. Like times can be tough. But for this many people, including celebrities, to reach out to an inanimate puppet, a personality who's not real, and bare their soul. I'm having a midlife crisis. And I still have a lifetime of work to go. Come on. That's the gig, man. That's what we sign up for when you're born into this world. The minute you're born, somebody has to pay for you to be here, including yourself. It's a fucked up scenario, but it's what we're all dealing with. So, pull your fucking socks up and grab your nuts and walk on, sir. Jesus Christ. I'm having less and less patience for the crutches. And I'm not saying, there are people out there who have mental health issues who carry on. They keep calm and they carry on and they deal with their situation and they're stoic about it. And I respect that a million times more than somebody saying, I just can't do it anymore. And you're 27 or you're 32. Get the fuck out of here. This is the gig. If you don't like it, figure out a way to move down to some South American island, off the coast of South America, and live out your life there making fucking, coconut Mai Tais. I don't know what to tell you, but this is the gig. Well,
speaking of the gig,
I was just going to say, we got Jefe on the line here. The man works 7 jobs. He's like a fucking Jamaican. He's got 12 jobs. They're all 40 hours a week. I don't know how he does it. And yet he keeps showing up here and lending his knowledge, his wisdom, his good fortune and his bad fortune. And I mean, he's the man. Jefe, welcome.
Thank you. Consider my appearances here a gift to you and everybody else.
Thank you. I do feel gifted and honored, my friend.
You're welcome.
Hey, Jefe, your contract's up for negotiation again. I'm willing to go ahead and throw in a sandwich this time.
Oh, do I get to pick what sandwich?
Yes,
from a list, from a short list.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't go over $20. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, you know what sandwiches suck like super bad now?
What's that?
Subway.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah, they're the worst. They're the worst.
Yeah, they're terrible.
They can go straight to hell.
Yeah, agreed.
Like the meatball was always like a last resort. It's always there and it's always good. It tastes like shit now. I don't know what they did, but them and Little Caesars too. That used to be like a cheap, decent pizza, and that blows now too. I don't know what it is.
You know what? I think it was that fucking Jared guy. I think he like put the fucking pedophile gene or whatever into all the meat at Subway, and so now when you're tasting, you're like, I don't want to fuck kids. This is gross.
Yeah, well, they can't use the kids to make the sandwiches anymore. So yeah, of course.
Is that what it is?
Or maybe they are using the kids now because they're not busy doing other things, and they're the ones that are.
Why. Yeah,
that's they're the ones that are fucking.
That's why it tastes so bad. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I haven't had a Subway sandwich in like 3 years, and that's no lie. They got really unappetizing. I don't think about them anymore at all.
Yep. So there's bad nights and slow nights that come around, and then there was tonight that it just felt like just a dark cave of nothingness and despair. But I made $200 just now.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
All
I was just
right.
gonna say tailbone, but no, you rallied.
I did. That little three
You
ball.
snatched victory from the jaws of defeat.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Feel good. Feel better now.
All right.
I feel better now. My night's gonna end a lot better knowing that you just pulled down a couple honey.
Our whole
Yes,
chat's
sir.
going to start boning because of that.
I think I need to do my farm report now.
Oh.
Absolutely. Let's hear the farm report.
I fucking love that song.
What do you
Me
got?
too. It's so good.
Okay. Do you know that 7% of the adult, keyword here, adult U.S. population believes that brown cows produce chocolate milk? That's your farm report.
Fuck me.
It's
I
the
did
best
not see that
segment we've
coming.
added ever. Oh,
I did not
God.
see that coming.
That
And
was a
thank you
brown.
so much for
that was a chocolate milk cow that was used in that little
in
stinger
the
there.
audio.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, talk about your smooth brainers. Holy shit. Really? 7%?
Yes. That's
How?
so-
How?
That makes me want to shoot the dick off of every man on the planet just so they don't reproduce. No more kids. We're done.
Just stop it. Just stop. Don't. I don't even know what to do with that. Thank you,
Wow.
Hefe.
You're
You
welcome.
know, that
Best farm report
perfectly
ever.
matches. Yeah, that perfectly matches the rest of the second half of the show. That's
Oh,
fantastic.
totally. Yeah.
That's actually the highlight of the second half of the show.
Feels good
Hey,
to give.
Hefe, would you use X more if you were able to bet on it? If you're able to use it as a betting app?
I would bet. Oh, I would bet on anything, really. I would use X more if I could log in. That's a
Okay.
whole issue. Yeah. I would. I mean, I would look at it, and if they offered some cool shit, I wouldn't be against betting on it.
Well, because that's in the works, dude. That's in the works. It's going to be, I mean, the goal is to have X be an all-in-one app. And so Elon's slowly adding things. And one of the things that's coming up pretty soon is you're going to be able to bet on it. It's going to be a betting platform.
Sounds nice.
So as a one app. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, how is it different than anything else?
Well, I think you're going to be able to go ahead and go right from a tweet and turn around and be able to bet on it. Like
Yeah.
I see this being a massive train wreck. Because you're going to be able, somebody's going to go out there and throw around so much information that's could be completely erroneous, and somebody's going to turn around and drop $20 on a game because they think somebody's out or something, and the guy's not, or somebody's playing and they aren't. I see this being. I mean, it's gonna be fun
but
to watch.
I also think it's going to be open to community notes, and I mean, I think I talked about this one other time on the show a while back, but there was an experiment run by this social scientist, and this was back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So right in the like beginnings of social science, and he had people at county fairs, and he traveled all around the country and did this same experiment. But he had people at county fairs, and they had to guess the weight of a cow. Like, how much does this cow weigh? And they got to look at it. Yeah, they all put their guesses in a jar, and you had wildly different opinions. I mean, you had little kids that were like, it weighs 7 pounds. And then you had, people who thought they knew what the fuck they were talking about. It weighs 2 tons. But if you took the amalgamation of all of the responses, the mean, the average of everybody was pretty much dead on. It was pretty much right every time, and to within like a pound. And he did this again over and over and over at different county fairs. So it's like, none of us is as stupid as all of us, right? But all of us can come together and actually find the right thing. So imagine so this is all to say, McShane, back to your point, that somebody could put out a tweet like, oh, Kansas City should be favored by 12 because they're going to fucking kill them. And then the rest of us get to weigh in and be like, well, there's this factor, this factor, this factor. And eventually you're going to come to probably pretty close to the final score, because you're talking about millions of people being able to weigh in. And the average of all of us is kind of smart. It's kind of predictive. So I could see this being a positive, right?
Okay. That's I think you do have a good point. I remember that you talking about that study too. So that would be, I think it would be fascinating. I think I think there's going to be some definite, look before you leap kind of moments, but that is
crazy
just,
shit. Yeah.
That goes against what Agent K said, though.
Who?
Agent K.
What did Agent K say?
From
Men in Black, right?
Men in Black. He said, "A person is smart, people are dumb."
That's true. And that is true if you're talking about things that are outside of their realm of reality. For everybody to know that there are aliens, although now we're at a point now where that's kind of obvious, but back then when that movie was made, everyone would freak out and there'd be chaos in the streets. But we're talking about a known thing, like how much does this cow weigh? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to win the NBA championships? These are known things that aren't scary. And so people can take away their stupid and just apply what they know about the situation. And again, the outliers are going to be way the fuck out there, but they're going to be averaged out by the outliers way the fuck out there on the other side. And so when you get to that mean, to that average, you're going to get pretty close to what the reality is. I mean, McShane always says it. The truth is somewhere in the middle. That's right. And that is absolutely fucking 100% correct.
All right.
There was
you converted me.
All right.
There was a game earlier this year. There was a Brooklyn Nets, and they so last year there was a game where they were going to rest their three big stars, and one of them, I can't remember who it was. I think it was one of the ex-Suns. I think it was Bridges, but he asked or elected or whatever to go into the game, to start the game, to continue a streak of games played or games started, whatever. Played for 5 minutes and then he was done. So he wound up with 4 points and 1 rebound. So fast forward to 2 months ago, they did it again. And the sports books, some of them didn't remember that happening, but the bettors did. And so they got on there and they took him to go under this many points and under this many rebounds. And then the sports books caught it. Yeah. But a bunch of people. I mean, you place that bet, it's in there. And he did it again. He started the game and then he played for 5 minutes and then he was done. And I think they said that some of the, is circling back around to the whole Twitter thing, that they were putting out on Twitter that he was going to do that. And that's how word spread. And all these bets got placed and people made some money on it. That's good because fuck the sports books.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, on the financial side of things, since you're kind of bringing that up, as far as X is looking, if they're going to become a sports bookie, that only means on the long run, on a long enough timeline, that only means positive revenue for them. They're going to win more often, like we talked about earlier about, the house always has the edge. So for them, it's an economic win. For a few lucky individuals, it could be, winning the fucking lottery because they put it all in on something that they just had a feeling about. I don't know. It'll be. I'm not a gambling man. I like to play cards every once in a while, but sports I won't bet on because I do feel like it's all rigged. But this could be something that, even just for the good of the show, it'd be fun to throw down $20 and just see what happens on Twitter,
Yeah. There was
see how this one plays out. That I think that is an interesting take.
Yeah, for sure.
Did I ever tell you guys a story about when M-Dub and I were playing the role of the sports book at a Super Bowl party?
What?
Oh, dear.
No?
Yeah, we were taking bets from people. And it was just some chill, no hardcore gamblers there. Everyone's betting like $10.
It's chill until it isn't.
Right.
Yeah,
so they're betting $10. Well, one guy bet $200 on the coin flip, and he won. And $200. This is back in the Tampa Bay Raiders Super Bowl. I think it was 2000.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of money to us. That was a lot of money to us back then.
Yeah, it was. A dollar meant a lot more back then.
And we wound up in the hole like $170 because of that one guy.
Fuck that guy. Why did you take the bet? It's a 50-50 bet.
We told him we'd take any bets. I didn't think he was going to go that deep into my pockets.
Yeah, he went deep into something. Jesus.
So needless to say, that's the last time we ever did that.
Good call. Or put a cap on it. Jesus.
Yeah, whatever.
That's all right.
It's only money.
Yeah, that's right. It's only $200.
All right, I'm gonna go back out there and make some more money.
All right, we're gonna wind things up over here.
All right. See you guys later.
Baby. Thanks, man.
Okay.
Later, brother.
All right, let's get to final thoughts.
Whiskey Hill's final thoughts.
Fitz, what's your final thoughts for the night?
Final thoughts. I think, and I'm going to try and not make this a theme every week because I feel like the show speaks for itself in this regard. But since this is our first attempt at final thoughts, I just want to say, our one of our taglines for this show is, think critically, act accordingly. I think one thing that all the stories, the thread that kind of came through all the stories tonight was the fact that you can take what Stephen Colbert or, the media is telling you about Taylor Swift or, Joe wants to do down in East Palestine. You can take all of that as fact, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to sift through that and say, okay, wait, what's the purpose behind this story? You have to dig deeper. You can't just take it at face value. You have to say, what are they trying to get me to think? What are they trying to get me to vote? What are they trying to get me to buy? And again, we have this theme quite often in this show, so I won't do this commentary again. But tonight's show really illustrates that you have to dig deeper. You have to be better than what the powers that be think you are. They think you're stupid and going to take things at face value, and you have to be more than that. You have to dig, you have to think, and then you have to come back and ask questions. And if you do those things, if enough of us do those things, we might just be okay. We might just get out of this. I mean, look at the farmers. They're making a difference by saying, you know what? Fuck you and your stupid laws. They're hurting us. How about this? How about we stop doing what we do and we come to your house and we play in your backyard? Let's see how you like it. They're changing things in Europe. They're changing things on a huge scale. And I fucking respect it. So let's be thinkers. Let's be doers. Let's not take things sitting down. And let's take some action. Let's be Whiskey Hell Nation needs to be something that is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. It's something that can be a local and then regional and then national movement where we just say, look, we hear what you're saying, but we also know it's bullshit. So now you can tell us the truth because we're not going to put up with it. So that's my final thoughts for tonight. What about you?
Don't wait for Elmo to say, how's it going? How's everybody doing?
Good.
Your mental health is the most important thing you can possibly have. And sometimes you have to step back. Sometimes you have to reach out to somebody. Sometimes, open up our DMs. Send us a note. Hey, I'm having a fucking terrible day.
Yes.
We'll be happy to go and commiserate with you or just let you talk.
totally send you a picture of a dildo. Totally. That makes everybody's day, right?
Absolutely. Fuck yeah, it makes everybody's day. Or a strap-on, depending on what you're into. Who knows? But I'm also going to say this, too. I want everybody to go out there and follow at me Cookie Monster, at Grover on X, and I want you to follow Elmo. Because I have a hunch we're going to get the absolute best memes out of these jackasses that you could ever want.
That's so good.
They're already posting pictures that are absolutely, they shouldn't be doing this because it's going to be turned into sacrilege. So please get out there and follow the Muppets, the Sesame Street, for some absolute goodness that you can turn into absolute badness. Which beer are you taking to bed?
Tough one tonight. Tough. Great Notion. Fucking killed that beer. And you know one thing I didn't mention about the storms down in California that has pulled the Pineapple Express, that whole atmospheric river, it's pulled it down south from us. So this last week we have had pretty much every day has had sunshine. And today was all day it was sunshine. It was beautiful. And so it felt like a spring day. It was cool. It was 52 or whatever, but it was sunny. And I got sun on my skin. I got the vitamin D boost. And so that Great Notion beer really played into today. But you all know that I like my girls dark. I like them feisty. I like them ready to kiss you with a poison, tongue. That they just, licked a corpse and now they're going to go down on you. I'm into it. So I'm going with the Oak Union Guillotine. She's bad, she's mad, she's a killer, and that's just the mood I'm in tonight. So cheers to Oak Union. Well done, guys. How about you? What are you taking to bed?
I'm gonna go with the Tombstone Miners Mild Ale.
Okay.
And here's the reason. It's unique, and it's unique in its absolute basicness. I mean, it's not going to it's not trying to be anything more than it is. It is an absolutely mellow,
which I appreciate.
Yeah. It does not have it's going to be absolutely perfect when you want that beer. Whereas, the RAR was good. It was really, really good. Devil's Pie was excellent. But there's just something about having something that you can fall back on, something that's going to be consistent, something that's going to be there when you break it. You break glass in case of emergency. That was my beer. Yeah. So that's why I'm picking that one.
Nice. I mean, it's nice to know that something that's entering your body is a known quantity. You know what I mean? Like that lover that you've been with for 10 years, you know how big he is. Or on the flip side, you know how tight she is or not. You know what she's good at, you know what she's not good
Amen.
at. And having a known thing is sometimes a lot of comfort. So I appreciate that. Well done. Well done. That was all for the chat, by the way. We fucking love you guys.
Oh, it totally was. At whiskey_hell is the X follow if you guys want to check us out on there. whiskeyhellpod.com is the website. We appreciate you guys listening. Stay classy, drink great beer, think critically, act accordingly, and for God's sakes, don't take everything at face value. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz. Love every one of you.
We'll talk to you soon.